What's shaking YouTube tonight? Welcome to Lords of Longbox Presenting CovrPrice Comic Book Shakers of the Week for March 1st or March 2nd, 2023. Wow, we are getting almost springtime. Can you believe that? That is absolutely nuts. But you know, it's Thursday, so that only means one thing: it's Freestyle Friday. So let's get a little DJ Chalet. We haven't heard her in a bit.
If you can feel what I am feeling, then the truth is just believing. You're my diamond girl, diamond girl, diamond girl. You're my diamond girl, diamond girl, diamond girl. You're my. If you can feel what I am feeling, then the truth is just believing. You're my diamond girl. Ooh, oh, diamond girl. You're my diamond girl, diamond girl, diamond girl. You're my diamond girl, diamond girl, diamond girl. You're my diamond girl, diamond girl, diamond girl, diamond girl. You're my diamond girl, diamond girl, diamond girl.
All right, DJ Chalet, thank you very much. I think it's was it National Women's Week or something? Is that right, Laura?
Month. We get the whole month.
Yeah. So, Laura will be on the Comic-Con podcast. I think that drops tomorrow or somewhere. But Laura, say what's good to people.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So make sure you guys check that out. And this list, I just skimmed over it here, and whew, there are some good ones.
Speaking of good ones, JB, say what's good to people.
How you doing, everybody? I 100% agree with you. There is going to be some knowledge dropped, as always, by the fantastic writers over at CovrPrice. Shout out to them, and shout out to everybody watching live and on the rewind. And as always, make sure you guys get your comments in on Tuesday's show. I'll drop a link in the chat because we're going to be pulling one of those comments for another giveaway at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that.
That's right. The show is brought to our friends over at coverprice.com for your price guides, collections, and trends, the top 10 lists, and the Shakers list we do every Thursday at 6 p.m. Also, our proud sponsor, Bird City Comics. Use discount code LOTLB to get 15% off anything in the Bird City store. And you may have missed out on this book, sold out, but this drops tomorrow. What can you tell us about it?
So I was telling the guys backstage, I'm a little nervous because we've never done a Street Fighter cover before. This is our first time working with Udon Entertainment. So if you guys wouldn't mind, spread the word that we have our Street Fighter Masters Kami #1 by Ivan Tao releasing tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's limited to 750 virgins. But yeah, the more word we can get out there, the better.
Yeah, so we will give away a copy tonight at the end of tonight's show. So make sure you stick around after this. We go through the this 10 list here. Everybody always loves them. Some Street Fighter. I mean, just there, look at those thighs. They can crush melons as well as your head. Once again, these are the comic book shakers of the week, looking at the largest or most interesting sales of the week. And this is in no really dollar value order. It's just alphabetical. So what do we have up first?
Oh, I'm so jealous of whoever in the chat owns this. Like, I want it so bad. I'll buy it from you. We have Art Germ, A1 #1, Weirding Willows. This came out in 2013 by Titan Publishing. We often cover Art Germ's hard to find covers. This issue is one of the obscure Titan titles, A1. It's one of them. It's a gorgeous cover that showcases how on point Art Germ was when he himself was just a relatively unknown artist. I can't even imagine that time, but I guess it did exist. As Art Germ's fandoms grow, so does the price for those books like this. This week, a 6.5 raw sold for $110. That's about half of the value near mint copies sold for a little over a year ago. The all-time high belongs to a $380 9.8 sale in 2019. Current asking prices for high-grade copies, graded or ungraded, are very, very high. I love this cover. What do you think?
2013, nobody was talking about Stanley Art Germ, right? Nowadays it's like, now he's with the big two, DC, Marvel, and Image.
When do you think was the turning point for Art Germ? When did it turn?
Probably about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, you started really getting on the radar.
2018, 2019.
Yeah, right around there. And at first it was, but the more popular they get, the more covers they do, right? So then it's not as rare. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes every now and then one will pop, but this one definitely from 2013 is probably one of his earliest ones. I know people like look up Natalie Sanders' first work or other artists, but this is definitely one to get. If you notice, a lot of Art Germ's early stuff, they all look the same. It's the same pose, the same smile, same look, and his art has progressed better. Now he can actually draw men, but before then it was just drawing women, and they pretty much all look the same. So, A1 #1, the Art Germ Weirding Willows. Say that 5 times fast. From 2013, right. Sold for a raw, fine, near mint, fine copy for 110 bonards. All right, what do we got up next?
All right, this is a fantastic story, by the way. Next up, we've got Action Comics issue 869, the Recalled cover, originally published in 2008. Now, this issue is quite the page turner. Brainiac is featured as the main villain of the story, attempting to destroy Metropolis with his probes. Superman and Supergirl do their best to stop the villain, but end up failing. The issue ends with Metropolis shrunken and on Brainiac's ship, with Earth about to be incinerated by the sun. However, this captivating Jeff Johns story is not what makes this issue such a collector's item. The cover of this issue depicts Clark Kent sharing a drink with his adoptive father. All seems fine and dandy as Martha and Lois watch the two bond against the night sky. Lo and behold, Superman is partaking in the obscene activity of drinking a beer.
Oh, the shame.
It might have been root beer, right? But that's a discussion for another day. DC quickly backtracked and ordered retailers to destroy the original copies and reprinted the cover with a soda pop label over the bottle. Now, it's speculated that around 1,000 copies of the original cover still exist in circulation. Currently, there are 431 graded books on the CGC census. More than half are in the 9.8 bracket. Within the last year, graded 9.8s have jumped $200 in value for a new high sale of $520. The previous high, by the way, was August 22nd. It was only about $310.
So nowadays, when they get a recalled comic, back then I would think in 2008, the reason there's so many 9.8s is the dealers or comic shops that had them were like, I'm going to hold on to them because they didn't ask them to return them. They asked them to destroy them. So then they say, I'm just sit on them. So they just sat on them, got them graded, and lo and behold, anytime something says recalled and that adds controversy and that causes the price to go up, we've seen it happen over and over again. So that's the best thing that can happen to your comic.
I think I kind of want this. This is kind of cool,
I don't know if Superman can get drunk, can he?
So, no, he can't get drunk, but the fact that he's having a beer with his dad.
Yeah.
That's
cool, another
man.
question for you. Can Wolverine get drunk or Deadpool? Because they have regenerative, they regenerate themselves. That's why I remember one time I read in one comic where it actually Wolverine literally said, I can't get drunk because of his mutant gene that regenerates himself. So
he can't lose brain cells like the rest of us.
Yeah, so he just drinks it just
why
for
does
the
he even
flavor.
Bother drinking? Because he's always drinking.
Yeah. It's a curse and a gift. Action Comics number 869, the recalled version from 2008, $520 for a 9.8. So remember, look for the one that has the beer bottle and not the soda pop bottle. If you're ever going to see this in the wild, if you happen to come along,
I can't tell. Like, where does it? I don't see where it says soda. This is the not recalled one, right?
Yeah, this is the not recalled. Well, this is the recalled one. So this is the one that looks like a beer bottle. And that's what they're saying. Is it root beer? Is it beer?
Who the hell was complaining about Superman drinking a beer?
In 2008, this was an issue? Like, that's
Liger. Come on, man.
Jesus. It's not like a hypodermic needle in your arm, like, back, way before when, but, smoking a joint variant would be a great variant. Yeah, there you go, Bird City. That's your next idea. All right, so
brilliant.
Yeah, so Action Comics number 869, the recalled version from 2008, 520 for a 9.8. Here's one that everybody recognizes.
Oh yes, another one I want. Amazing Spider-Man number 4, J. Scott Campbell, Conquest Comics. This came out in 2014. Spoilers for Spider-Man number 6, which just came out yesterday. So if you guys haven't read that yet and you don't want it spoiled, mute me for a little bit. The Spider-Verse has a new queen and her name is Silk. The latest issue of Spider-Man is closing out the war against Shathra for control of the Great Web. It is revealed that the initial translations of a mystical dagger were incorrect, and in fact, Silk was the chosen one, not Peter. This leads into the new Silk series debuting in May of 2023, which will feature Silk in a multiversal adventure through the Spider-Verse. Couple this news with the Silk Amazon series, and you have a good amount of value to place on Cindy Moon's first appearance. It is easy to assume that Marvel has big plans for the character. As if that wasn't enough, J. Scott Campbell lended his talent to illustrate a sensationally sultry depiction of Black Cat as a retailer exclusive for Conquest Comics. There are currently 347 copies graded at a 9.8, according to the CGC census. 100 of those are signature series. The price of this CGC 9.8 variant has steadily risen, with the last sale setting a new high of $820. It previously sold for $600 in September of 2022. That is a decently massive jump for the Queen of the Spider-Verse. Oh, I love this. So sexy.
Yeah, I would say artists love drawing Black Cat. Just another side note that ASM 4 is her first full appearance, but some argue that ASM number 1 is her first appearance, although it's in a cameo unnamed in the shadow. But people have bought a damn test tube before for a first appearance. So in ASM number 1, the same spider that bit Peter Parker ended up biting Cindy Moon in the first panel, I think, on the first page on the ASM number 1 of this run in 2014. So but this one
And her
has 3.
costume can be kind of like cheesy to me, but this is well done. Sometimes the Black Cat costume, I'm just like, ugh.
Now,
Yeah.
I like
is it me? Is it the face always the same with J. Scott Campbell? It doesn't matter
Everybody
if
Yes.
that's Black Cat or
Yes, it is the same.
MJ or
Kinda
no
mousy.
matter who it is, it's
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
face.
Exactly. Well, a lot of artists are the
Same
same
little
too.
button
I mean,
nose.
one of my favorite artists of all time is John Byrne, and all of his characters look the same. Going back to the late 70s and early 80s. But yeah, this is definitely. And when you see this, this is a J. Scott Campbell cover.
Yeah.
So Amazing Spider-Man number 4, J. Scott Campbell from Conquest Comics. This is the color one because there's a negative one as well, and there's another version, and then so just be on the lookout. So the negative one I think is the more rare one. So we don't know. We shall see. So it'll be interesting to see if they do a Moon project, a Cindy Moon project without Spider-Man, right? Standalone, would that work? I don't know, man.
Maybe.
Yeah, because Sony
No,
owns the
that's
owns the
not
rights
gonna
to
work.
it, so they're putting it on Amazon Prime. So we shall see. Speaking of Amazon Prime, things that TiVo watch that you should watch.
We need to get an intro. We need a bumper for this.
Right?
We
really
need
do.
some sort of little dun 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 dun.
It's called Game of
This is the
It's
TiVo
called
Watch.
Game of Spy. It's a Japanese series. It's called Game of Spy. Think of Mission
Okay.
Impossible, IMF Team kind of Japanese version of them, and it's a like a 9 shows in season 1. But it's worth a watch, man. Pretty cool. But there you go. Game of Spy is TiVo's What You Should Watch, sponsored by nobody. All right, what do we got up next?
Another fantastic story. Sit back, relax, folks. Next up, Avengers issue 167, The Mark Jewelers Insert, originally published in 1978. Now, only good things can happen when you combine the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, with a Mark Jeweler insert in a CGC 9.8 grade. This week, we saw an ultra rare sale of that unicorn Avengers 167 that ticked all those boxes. Someone clearly loves the idea of owning this book as a Mark Jeweler variant copy because the regular CGC 9.8s cost about $275, and that's a far cry from the $1,300 that someone just paid for a Mark Jeweler CGC 9.8 copy. Now, Mark Jeweler copies are considered by many to be the first variant format for comic books. The 2-page front and back insert featured in Marvel, DC, and Dell Comics were marketed by the Mark Jewelers Jewelry Company to military personnel who they felt would be most interested in purchasing jewelry and engagement rings for loved ones back home. Now, these variant copies were sold on or close to military bases across the U.S. starting in 1971 all the way until 1991. Over the years, a niche market has appeared not only with collectors looking for specific titles with Mark Jeweler insert, but with collectors seeking any comic with a Mark Jeweler insert. To this day, it is not known for certain which titles or issues even contained Mark Jeweler inserts, thus keeping the hunt ongoing for those looking to seek out these variants. Happy Mark Jeweler hunting out there.
Wow.
I happen to have 2 of them. I was going through my
Alright.
stuff today, and I have a Marvel or the Marvel preview books, the Doctor
See, though,
Strange
I
run.
sell at least one Mark Jeweler in every show
Yeah.
on Whatnot.
But I
And
have
they
Do you
these.
always
really?
rock. Yes, at least I have one for every single show.
Yeah, let
That's
me
And
show you.
there's
I have
a
these
niche,
2.
and collectors love them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is an Iron Fist, and you can tell on the inside. And there's different colors from Mark.
Yeah, they're
Jeweler
different color
as well.
inserts.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a
Interesting.
black one, a blue one. I mean, you can tell by looking at the top of it if
There's
you
a
really know what
brown,
you're.
a red.
And this is the most random Marvel Premiere book ever. Marvel Premiere featuring the torpedo. But
Now,
I
another
got it.
thing to notice is they're only on newsstand editions. So you would never see a Mark Jeweler in a direct edition.
Yeah.
They were always newsstand editions.
So
And then some have a star stamp on their cover.
Hmm.
And I don't know what that indicated. Either you were on the base or you weren't on the base. I'm not sure which it is, but you'll see a little star stamp. And if you see a star stamp with a newsstand, it's a Mark Jeweler probably.
yeah, because there's no way to tell it on the cover. It literally is just an insert on the back. And so the rarity is how many of those made it through, right? Because they had to, they were ripping them out or they were doing whatever, and they were only sold in their military bases. So the supposed, print runs are pretty low. And people have been hunting these for a while now, but I mean,
It's
this
a
is
niche
pretty cool
market.
too. This is also the first appearance of the, I think, Avengers meeting the Guardians of the Galaxy, if I'm not mistaken. So still pretty cool. Avengers number 167, the Mark Jewelers insert from 1978. 1,300 for 9.8. Holy cow. All right. Here's something a bit newer.
All right. Batman number 11, the Greg Capullo sketch. This was a 1 in 100 variant that came out in 2012. Let's face it, Batman is one of, if not the most collectible character in the comic book universe. We'll see what the chat has to say about that. He has an excellent rogue gallery, and many of his books are highly collectible. What's strange is that the new 52 run doesn't get much hype despite being one of the best crafted Batman runs. Scott Snyder worked wonders on the Batman mythos and brought in new villains such as the Court of Owls, who made their first appearance in Batman number 6. What most people don't realize is that a now famous writer joined Snyder on this run beginning with issue 8, James Tynion the Fourth. Now known for such books as Nice House on the Lake, Department of Truth, and Something is Killing the Children. He was an uncredited writer of the Night of the Owl storyline and helped to launch his career writing Bat books. Batman 11 would be the series' conclusion of the Court of the Owls story arc, and this week saw a huge sale of a graded 9.8 for $428 on March 1st, so yesterday. If you haven't had the joy of reading this run, it's never too late to get into this Snyder Tynion goodness. So we just covered this on Nearing Nirvana, and it's interesting because he does an interview and he's talking about how with a lot of this Court of Owls run, he's actually doing the writing, but they just put Scott's name on it because they knew it would be better received.
Really?
More popular. Yeah.
See, learn something every day on the show.
I thought that was so interesting, but it wasn't done in like a devious way. They did it strategically. They're like, okay, this will make the book more popular if people see Scott Snyder's writing it, but it was really James behind the scenes.
Yeah, and how rare was a sketch cover back in 2012 too?
Right?
I mean, if you just look at it, it's so dope. His lower body is just like a bunch of like bats that are kind of leaning up to it, and it coincides with the I guess the release of the Dark Knight Rises movie, and arguably, Batman's rogues galleries are collected just as, Spider-Man's rogues galleries are probably collected just as much. But the issue with Batman's rogues galleries is most of them are in the golden age, and so they're pretty pricey. Or the Flash's rogues gallery, but Spider-Man's rogues galleries were, typically silver and bronze age. So, but they, Spider-Man's, I would argue, and people will hate me in the live chat, maybe in the live chat, you say who's has a better rogues gallery, Batman or Spider-Man? I would say Spider-Man. I would say they're more powerful. So there, I don't know, bunch of controversy. Batman number 11.
The art here. What do you think of the cover itself?
I think it's dope. I mean, you couldn't even tell it's a sketch, right? I mean, it just looks like a regular cover, because normally maybe could be like it could have been a Batman blank that somebody did sketch on, but apparently this was the one that was released that was released out. Black and white pencils, I dig it.
It's such a perfect pairing between Snyder and Capullo. Those two work so well together.
Well, Capullo came from McFarlane's world, so they had they had the same. He came from his kind of style of work. Famously, Capullo and McFarlane did the Korn cover. For those who remember CD album covers or record album covers, so the story around that corn cover is Capullo actually did the pencils and McFarlane did the inks on it, not vice versa. So just for a little factoid for you guys, if you ever look up that corn album. So, all right, what do we got up next?
Well, we're at the halfway point of the show, and I thought it was a great time to mention to the fantastic live chat we've got tonight. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and drop a comment on this Tuesday's top 10, maybe what your favorite cover was in the comments. We're going to randomly grab a comment from that show after this list, and we're going to give away the Friday exclusive from Bird City. That's right. All right. Next up, number 6 on the list, we've got Daredevil issue 612, the Paulo Rivera Netflix 1 in 10 variant, originally published in 2018. Now, rarely does a cool cover is this get released as a 1 in 10 variant, but this Rivera Netflix variant did just that, and comic fans got lucky. However, this book kind of still flew under the radar for many, as it doesn't have any particular key significance. And it was also released right after the completion of season 3 of Daredevil, with that looming Disney license removal thing going on. So fans felt there was no chance we would get this exceptional version of Daredevil again, and for good reason. But one fan, a little late to the party, thought, fret not, and dropped $365 for a reported near mint raw copy. That's crazy. Now, in the greater scheme of things, some may view this as chump change, but when this book was routinely going for sub 100 and even sub 50 raw, that's quite a substantial jump. Heck, the last time a CGC 9.8 sold in late 2022, it only went for $175. Now, how things have changed in such a short time, with both Daredevil and Kingpin having made a return to the screen across multiple projects? Well, luckily, there is more in the pipeline for the characters, with many fans desperately hoping they meet again, as this cover invokes their final meeting in the Netflix series.
So this isn't even the first appearance of Black Suit Daredevil. There was a Daredevil comic that before it was like Daredevil year 1, right? Before he donned his red costume, and I think it was a mini series. Let me see. Yeah, it was the Man Without Fear limited series. Is the first time you saw him wearing the black costume. So this 1 in 10. Who does 1 in 10s anymore? Yeah. Yeah,
I feel like we need to have that game show me like, wah, wah. What were you doing? Come on.
Well, it's the Feige effect, right? Once fans lost their shit when they saw Matt Murdock appear on the Spider-Man No Way Home, right? When he showed up as a lawyer, then they're like, okay, now we know it's real. Now we know it's coming, right? But there you go. 2018, if you want,
it's good, but I don't know. There's so many good Daredevil covers, and there's more out there that I think are stronger than this one.
9.8 in it, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want the first time you ever wore the costume, it's the Man Without Fear. It's basically is Batman year 1 or Daredevil year 1 before he got his costume. If you want to know when the first time he donned the blue costume, it's probably black costume is probably when did it come out? It came out in like the late 2010s or 2009, 2010 around there. It was on a 6-issue limited series called the Daredevil Man Without Fear. So peep that out if you want to get the first black suit. All right, what do you got up next?
Again, this is kind of perfect. I can't plan this better. We're going to be covering Michael Turner on Nearing Nirvana on Friday. So if you guys are a Michael Turner fan, which I'm assuming everybody is,
yes,
tune in for that. G.I. Joe it says number 21, so ignore the graphic there.
My bad.
Michael Turner, Renegar Foil Edition from 2003. This came out by Image Comics. This 2003 G.I. Joe variant, known as the Renegar Edition, is an homage to the classic 1984 number 21 Snake Eyes Silent issue. With art by the late, great Michael Turner, this silver version is exceptionally difficult to find and lies at the top of many G.I. Joe collectors' lists. Heck, it's also at the top of many rare variant collectors. The silver foil version only has 5 standard 9.8s on the census. This week's sale of $1,159 for a CGC 9.8 may not be the highest sale of all time, but it's the first 9.8 to come to market in 8 years. Back
Wow.
in 2017, it sold for a high of $1,500, and it was the first 9.8 to ever be sold. This was probably a fantastic investment.
What does Renegar mean? I was trying to figure that out. What Renegar means.
I'm not sure. Maybe the
ask
chat will
someone.
know. I don't know.
Yeah, someone in the live chat, because obviously the silent issue is a famous issue itself because of there was no words and because Snake Eye doesn't speak. But got to find out why it's called the Renegar Foil Edition. But either way,
Well,
G.I.
it says
Joe.
across the bottom of the book, but I don't understand what that means.
Yeah, I don't know. What does a Renegar mean? Somebody in the live chat, give it to us. All right, this is something I never thought I'd see on here. What do we got up next?
I'm telling you, man,
Wow.
where these writers, you guys are fantastic. Shout out to the writers at CovrPrice for doing the work on this tonight. Next up on the list, we've got The Mummy, Rise and Fall of Django's Axe, issue number 1, the photo variant, originally published in 2008. Now, before entering the new millennium, Universal Pictures delivered a phenomenal piece of cinematic history with The Mummy. Now, the movie was an instant hit that grossed over $416.4 million against a production budget of only $80 million. Now, the sensation took over all kinds of mediums, from an animated television show to comic books and even the development of a new ride at Universal Studios. Some of these products went on to have long life, and some were dead or mummified, you know what I mean, on arrival. Now, the Chaos produced prequel comic book did not see past issue number 1. However, photo variants of the cover have increased in price over time, which brings us to this issue. The Rise and Fall of Django's Axe was a prequel comic to the third movie, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. The photo cover C features Rick O'Connell, played by the very loved actor Brendan Fraser. Now, fans have always supported and called for the actor's return. Now, this past year, the actor gave a tremendously powerful performance in the film The Whale. The reception to this film and the actor's humble demeanor has propelled Brendan Fraser back into the spotlight. And just a month ago, Fraser surprised fans by making an appearance at the screening of, you guessed it, The Mummy. There is also so much positivity and excitement surrounding Fraser's return to cinema that we all understand how this photo cover sold for a new high of $99 for a raw near-mint copy.
There was an animated series. I don't remember that at all.
I was just going to say that. I don't remember that. I remember the movies, obviously, very well.
I remember the movies were very akin to like what Indiana Jones, but more supernatural. You know what I mean? It had that fun kind of, and he was kind of is modeled after Indiana Jones, but I mean, all the Mummy movies were fun, and then Tom Cruise took it over, and then they killed franchise. Sorry, yeah, there was
that's true.
Universal was going to be making a monster universe created on the Mummy, Dracula, Werewolf, and they did a Mummy movie. They did a Dracula Untold movie, which is fantastic, by the way. And that Werewolf movie is fantastic also with Benicio del Toro. That is a really good movie, especially during the Halloween. I love watching that with Sir Anthony Hopkins in it as well. But yeah, I mean, I think they definitely need to redo a monster universe for Universal. But what are you going to do? But these Mummies films way better than the Tom Cruise one. Sorry. Tom Cruise still kills it in Mission Impossible, but Brendan Fraser and The Mummy still beats those films out.
The Tom Cruise part wasn't the part that was bad. I'm talking to John in the chat there. It was that girl, that model that played the role of the witch. What was her name? I don't remember.
Someone, you know what? That we've got 154 strong in the chat. I'm sure someone can come up with the answer to that. Shout out to everyone hanging out with us live right now. If you have not already, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. TiVo's about to give away like something huge when we hit 8,000. We are so close. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that thumbs up.
Perfect segue. What's our next book? So this is something that's been talked about recently.
Oh yeah, this has been everywhere, guys. Something is killing the children. Number 5. This is the Werther Dera Boom Studios cover from 2020. Per the Hollywood Reporter, something is killing the children at Netflix isn't dead. The community was worried, but now they are invigorated. Since its release, something is killing the children has a community darling, and firmly put writer James Tynion IV on the map. After the announcement, issue number 1 was spotted on numerous specs lists, hype videos, and top 10 lists, including our own top 10. That indicates that fandom has bought back, and after the books has saw some downturns, and pretty much every Something is Killing the Children book key is now seeing some spikes. Issue number 1 is out of reach for many, but they have shifted over to other key books from the first 10 issues. That includes this book, a major key for the entire series, one that features several cameos and first appearances in The Old Dragon, Cecilia Slaughter, Bayan, and the Order of St. George. Recently, a reported no-grade raw copy sold for a whopping $300 immediately after the announcement, for settling down closer to $175 to $200. CGC 9.8 copies have been topping out around $350, while pretty much every grade in between has seen a bump. While issue number 1 is the book most are shooting for, other key issues in the run are a nice consolation prize. Once a trailer drops, these books could see another major spike, so many are opting to secure a copy before that has a chance to happen. It's crazy, isn't it? It's like we've been talking about this for so long, but now that there's
There you go. The name of the actress in The Mummy was Sofia Boutella. I think I read somewhere rumored, or at least that they were talking about casting of the main character of Dakota Fanning
for Erica Slaughter.
For Erica Slaughter, yeah. So it'd be interesting to see. I mean, how old is she now? She seems rather young to me, doesn't she? I mean, she's she's all grown up now. Never mind.
Laura, Tivo, you guys have read this, right? I mean,
yes.
When I first read this, I was like, this is going to translate so good, but they're going to have to change the title, right? I mean, that's probably why the House of Slaughter was introduced, because I can't see them putting this on Netflix titled Something is Killing the Children. People will flip out. But if it was titled, Erica Slaughter, House of Slaughter, or something to that effect, I think it's gonna hit.
You never know, man. Look at The Boys. I mean, there's nothing for boys on that show. That show is uber violent and crazy. Something is going.
The title is not like offensive. You don't read that title and go, "Oh my god, I'm going to cancel my Netflix."
Just recently, with all the cuts that our streaming services are doing, I'm like, man, I don't know if I put that much faith into something. You know what I'm saying?
They don't agree with. Oh wait, some people agree with me. We've got Liger says yeah, and then right behind it, Zombie's like, nah, dude, it'll be Something That's Killing Children.
Yeah, because you got to go with the brand name that it's known as. You know what I mean? If they change the name up, I'm still mad that they killed off Paper Girls after one season. Like or Warrior Nun.
Right? Maybe one day.
I hope so.
Well, I'm almost feeling like Netflix now is like the Oakland A's. They're the minor leagues, right?
Hey, I'm an A's fan. Watch it.
I'm sorry, man. But they develop the players and then they sell them off to the big guys. So all these series that got canceled on Netflix, maybe they come back.
Well, there's been petitions to bring Warrior Nun season 3 back. If you haven't watched Warrior Nun, things that TiVo watch that you should watch Warrior Nun. That is fucking awesome. Based on Warrior Nun Ariella, which was a really obscure comic in the late 90s, I believe. It was basically a nun that was half dressed just killing people. But Warrior Nun is way more fleshed out. It's international, and it's just some chicks kicking serious ass, and they killed it off after season 2. It has a supernatural tinge to it, obviously, because it's a lot of things to do with Christianity and and things of that nature, but it's definitely worth watching. And there's been petitions to like revive Warrior Nun. Hopefully Amazon picks it up, because Netflix decided not to renew it. That's why Netflix cancels things that for no reason at all, and maybe it's too expensive, and then and then they have other shows that run on forever that you're like, nobody's watching that. Why does this continue to show up my stuff? But things that people watch that you should watch is Warrior Nun and Game of Spy. So there you go.
All right, question here though. With Something Is Killing the Children, there is a lot of potential, because if you look into James' writing, he's definitely what you call like an architect when it comes to his writing. He knows what he's doing. He's doing this world building intentionally. So you have, again, like the House of Slaughter, which I didn't really like, to be honest. But from a speculation point, why weren't people collecting this the first time around? Why does it matter now that it's been like? Is it just because so
Oh
many
no,
things
no,
die?
no, no,
This
no, no,
is,
no. This was hot from the get.
I think the
Something
news
that was
leaked.
killing children
Yeah.
was hot
Oh.
from
I
the
think
get.
the news was leaked that it was being developed right as the comic was coming out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It was
and
like
then
it was
people
one of
lost
those things.
interest, and
Yeah.
now it's
Kind of
like,
like
oh,
Yeah,
that.
lost interest after what, around 21, 20, somewhere in the
Yeah,
eh.
but there's been multiple printings of, issues 1 through 5 and everything in between. And then I mean, if you look at something like that, what is that Keanu Reeves comic, Bizarre or
Berserker.
Berserker? I mean,
yeah.
that was told that it was being optioned before the comic even came out. And so,
Well, of course, or he would never been involved in it, right?
exactly. So, I mean,
you
all
want him
right.
to say,
So,
like, how many different ways can I make money on it? Yeah, sign me
yeah,
up.
but it's a great cover too, by the way. I love the way she's about to just snarl that crazy looking whatever the fuck it is, insectivore. I don't know what the hell it is. Something is killing the children. Werther Deladera, regular variant from January 2020. Raw dog, 200 bones. Oof. All right, last one, and then we're going to see what's shaking today, boys and girls, and we'll give away some stuff.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm going to drop the link right now because we've got 165 in the chat. We're going to be giving away the newest exclusive comic from Bird City. It's not even released yet. We're going to give it away tonight. Drop your comment on last Tuesday's top 10 to get entered, and we will draw that after this last read. Are you guys ready?
This is Raza?
This is Raza.
What? Okay, sorry, continue.
All right, here we go. Number 10 on the list, we've got Star Wars Thrawn, issue number 3, the Raza cover, originally published in 2018. Now, this book features the first appearance of Iranda Price. I hope I'm saying that right. A moth of the first Galactic Empire. While cover A can be had for relatively cheap, around 30, 40 bucks, this Raza variant is where collectors are dumping the big bucks. Recently, one collector dropped $700 for a CGC 9.8. That matches its previous high achieved in a 9.6 grade. But being able to snag this book in a 9.8 for that price, man, that's quite a steal. It's also the only 9.8 sale in our entire database, and one of only 6 sales total. No, and one of only 6 on the CGC database. Wow. It's a coveted yet scarce book, not only for Price's first appearance, but the stunning stare down between her and Admiral Thrawn gracing the cover. Thrawn is set to be a player in the future of the Star Wars universe, and many fans wonder if Price will have a similar fate after already appearing in Star Wars Rebels. Now, one fan decided to take a chance, securing that 9.8 copy for what many would consider would be, I don't know, kind of a fair price now that you know what a 9.6 went for.
Yeah, I mean, I have the first appearance of Thrawn in Heir to the Empire #1 in a 9.8. I mean, so I think people have given up on that one. And there's also Thrawn #1, which has, mostly just his head is covering it. But when his name was mentioned, Star Wars Thrawn issue #1, the Raza variant from 2018 for 700 bones. When he was referenced during, what was that show? Oh shit, The Mandalorian. Was it The Mandalorian?
Or was it book?
No, Ahsoka Tano is looking for somebody, and Grand Admiral Thrawn she mentions his name when Ahsoka Tano shows up in that one episode. So that's when I think speculation really went rampant. But yeah, can you imagine? I mean, he's pretty cool in the animated series, but once you get live action, just paint some dude blue, and there you go, man. All right, let's see.
I didn't know that was Raza though. That's crazy. Raza, that's not. I would never be sorting through a bin and go, "Oh, this is a Raza cover."
I have the Raza Miles Morales DJ set where he's on turntables. It's homage of the Bruce Lee art that he did. So, all right, for you guys, we'll give you guys a couple seconds now. We're going to give away a copy.
Drop the link one more time. We'll give you a few more seconds, and we're going to be giving away
that one.
Not that one. That one sold out too. All right,
Street Fighter Masters Cammy. Who's the artist?
This is Ivan Tao. We work with him a
Tao.
lot, so he's a badass. It's gonna be limited to 750 guys. It will go on sale tomorrow, 7 p.m.
Sell out.
Yeah.
It's
Huh?
gonna sell out.
Those
It's gonna
thighs
sell
will
out.
crush you.
I mean, that's what I hear. I hear there's a big following for this, but I'm just nervous because Bird City's never done one of these before. So
I think
please, if
it'd
you
be
don't
well.
mind, share it out.
Speaking of things that I watched that you probably don't need to watch is I watched GoldenEye again with Pierce Brosnan as 007. And there's a Russian bad guy in this woman, and she literally crushes people to death when she's having sex with them.
Oh
with her hips.
yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. I mean,
So
know,
there's
there's
two
other-
categories, TiVo. There's things
Yeah.
they should watch and things that they don't have to watch because you've already watched them.
Well, I mean, it's
Exactly.
still
It's
it's
two
still
different
James
things.
Bond, but it was in the 80s, and so the CGI wasn't all there, but and it was probably one of the more funnier James Bond films too. Like his constant flirting with Moneypenny, and Q and M and everybody, but the Russian chick that just crushes people to death with her thighs when she has sex with them. I was like, oh wow,
You guys ready?
But this is back when James Bond was just a slut and just sleeping with everybody,
As he
Man,
should.
we went from 51 comments to 80 comments.
Okay.
That's
so they
how
do
we're
like the
doing
champion.
it now. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're following Bird City and Miss Laura on Instagram. Maybe even get that newsletter. I'll tell you what, you want to stay on top of it with Bird City.
Yeah.
Get in on the newsletter.
If you want to win a copy, make sure you sign up for it, or else you're not going to get it. Make sure you sign up and you're
And-
sub to this
I
channel.
like that. Yeah. Let's put some
Here
terms
we
and conditions.
go. Terms and conditions, right?
Terms and conditions. Read the fine print.
Scott, comment is commented. There you
All
go,
right.
Scott.
I
Scott.
actually laughed at that because I went through. I always read the comments after the shows.
Yeah, I read it
that
too,
one
and he
made me
said
smile.
comment is commented. I did read that one early too.
Comment is a comment. We'll take it. So Scott, hit up Bird City Comics Instagram, and we'll get you this copy of Abu Yao right there.
There
for
he
you.
is.
There's
Scott's in
Scott.
the chat. Shout
That's
out to
funny.
you, Scott. TiVo, are you gonna hit us with a seamless transition as we shout out the
am.
162 in the
I
chat? There's
am.
Bird
Oh,
City is
Ant's
in the
here.
chat. Anthony,
never
how
in
you
the chat.
doing?
Anthony doesn't even know we're giving away shit yet.
Right? He's like, what are you doing? You're giving away
man.
something? yet?"
Let's see what's shaking today, boys and girls. This is the top 10 as we covered. Spider-Man, little Avengers, Miles Morales. We totally screwed up the graphics and order of everything, but you can get it on
Yeah.
coverprice.com. Most units
the
sold.
fly.
These are the most units sold. That's amazing. Wolverine #1, 24 units sold. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
This is a good read too, by the way. Betsy Batted, Captain Britain. I love that whole idea of the Britain Corps and everything, the Captain Britain Corps. That I'm so down with that. But let's see what's shaking it today, boys and girls. Or to see some that I will never have, which is Fantastic Four and Amazing Spider-Man #1. CDC 4.0 for Amazing Spider-Man #1 sold for $12,000. A
Ooh.
0.3 FF #1 sold for 4,400. I actually have this. I'm gonna add this to my thing right now.
I like this
Oh,
one.
all right,
What
so
is
show me, and it's a key. So
Yeah.
you're gonna add this.
It's
as-
a
you
raw
got
dog. Yeah, it's a raw dog. I haven't got.
You're not gonna give it a rating? Come on, you're gonna one of those guys.
I'm gonna give it a 9.0. Yeah, I'm
All
a condition snob,
Really?
so yeah, I'll give it a 9.0. But yeah,
72.
yeah, I love this cover too. It's very
That's sexy. I love it.
yeah.
Oh,
Shanna
that's
the
his,
She-Devil.
wait a minute. That's December of 72.
Yeah, is that your
Nice.
birthday book?
No, it's October, but it's one of the Marvel Frame books, and I love the
Yeah.
72, 73 Marvel Frame books.
Marvel
Yeah.
Frame. I was trying to remember what you guys always talk about.
Yeah, that's what
Anthony
they're.
was
That's what I call
expensive.
Marvel frames. It looks like they're coming out of a picture, coming out of the picture frame.
Ooh, I had that Raphael
Ooh,
graded 9.2.
Oh, do you?
Flexing,
I do.
Used
flexing,
to
Laura's flexing on
CDC
Raphael.
6.0, a CDC. What is that? And these are those odd shaped ones too. First appearance of Casey Jones.
This one's odd shaped.
Yeah, this
hate
is
these.
but back when it was like kind of half magazine, half comic book size.
Yeah,
But they
they're
made one
large.
for each ninja. Or
Look
turtle.
at Anthony talking shit in the chat. He's all, sure you do.
Is
Him and
he?
I have been fighting over this book. We've decided that we're going to play Fortnite, and whoever wins gets the book.
Damn. Make
Yeah.
it
He's
competitive in the house.
Sure you do. Uh-huh.
I do. I have this.
Boy, look at amazing, Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, my X-Men number 10. I have a
Oh, that Superboy is interesting. Go back up a little bit to the
Go back,
far
go
right.
back up.
That's
Yes.
the first. What do you call it? She's the prototype
Open that.
of
No, go
Supergirl.
big screen on that.
No shit. Superboy meets Supergirl.
Whoa.
There you go.
She doesn't actually. She's not really Supergirl, but he falls in love with her, so he temporarily gives her powers so she can pretend to fly and
How
everything.
does that work?
Oh, that's well, Thor did it in the last movie. Come on, man. He gave a bunch of kids the power of Thor, which
With
brought
this
up
hammer,
the
though.
whole point.
I mean, but he's
Yeah,
a
but-
god, though.
But
He's
that
not-
brought up the point. Why didn't he just give it all everybody the power of Thor when they were fighting Thanos? I mean, what?
Yeah, but
you know, if you could
Superboy
do
is
it to
just
the-
an
Eh,
Superboy
whatever.
is just an alien. I mean, come on now. I mean, why is he on a trapeze too? He can fly. Come on.
Because they're doing a contest in that issue. They're trying to
Yeah.
be human. I think.
That is too funny. Oh, look at this Vampirella. Always
Art Germ,
Vampirella
right?
books. Let's see. I don't know who this is. This is very good. This is a metal cover from 2019. Look at
One of my
that.
favorites. of
Yeah,
his
his art
is
style has changed. I mean, this definitely looks more vampy than it does look like Art Germ. But let me see how many. Oh, there's some gorgeous covers on this one too.
You gotta
Who's
love
this
those
one? It really-
movies, right?
Is that
It
Lindsay?
irritates me so much that Dynamite's like, no more showing side boob with Vampirella, no more showing
Well, hold
ass
on, there's
cheeks.
side
It's like,
boob right there.
well, they won't let us do it anymore, probably because they took on so many Disney properties. But it's like that's her power. Her sexuality is her strength, and you want us to strip that of her?
Yeah, let's
Get it?
go.
Wait a minute. Let
me go back
so
in the shoe.
Vampirella's now a Disney property?
Well,
No.
Dynamite's doing Disney properties now, so I think they're trying to clean up Vampirella.
Ah.
Yeah,
at
they're
that.
being very strict.
Very seductive. Frank Cho drawing it.
Ooh,
All right.
Cho. I like
So I love checking the chat, and I noticed that James DeVito, shout out for popping in the chat, James. I think you're actually behind. You're not live right now because his two comments were the Oakland A's when we were at the end of the show, and now
Yeah.
he's Raza Rocks. So I think he's a little bit delayed, James. You may want to skip ahead.
Oh, this one gives me memories right here. So I actually pulled this in a 9.8 at a mystery box for Darkside Jedi at WonderCon.
This is foil, right?
Yep, it's the foil one. Raw 700 near mint, highest known value 9.9, 5,000. But I pulled it was a $250 mystery box. And I said, Ryan, if you want it, he goes, yeah, and he just sent me the money. And this was one of the prizes, and it was a 9.8. This Amazing Spider-Man. It's actual Spider-Man #1, but they use a Spider-Man 300 cover for it. But
Oh,
you can-
that's cool, man.
yeah, this is one of those things where it's either a 9.8 or it's not because it's unforgiving chromium.
You can't press that.
Yeah,
can you? Maybe
it's
you can.
damn
I don't
near,
know. I don't know what people can do now.
unpressable is what I
I'm
would
watching
say.
books go from brown to white now. It's incredible what they're doing to these things.
Yeah. Oh, it wouldn't be a shaker show without young romance. Look into her eyes and answer the question: can
Reflection cover.
any man be trusted? I don't know.
You know,
tell me.
there are people who collect reflection covers. This is
Yeah.
a cool example of one.
Yeah, it's always side collecting. That's always the thing that people like to do.
Captain
man.
Marvel
Oh,
had a really good one where she's like,
how
looking
dope
into
is
it.
this, man?
Oh, that's
Unknown
cool.
worlds of science fiction. Look at that with squiddy alien type creatures. The Day of the Triffids. I want to say that's in a movie. Yeah, Ray. Exclusive interview with Ray Bradbury. I swear to God, Day of the Triffids was a horror movie in the 60s or 70s. I swear.
What
to
year
God
is
it was.
this? 75. Okay.
75. I could have swore it was though, but listen, I want to see some other covers on here. Look at that. All new war toy. Unknown worlds of science. Wow, I get this whole now. I want to get this whole damn run now.
Well, how many are in the run? Hit the title. I just want to see how many are in that run. Unknown Worlds of Science. See, there's
Shit,
only 6
5.
books.
JV, I didn't know you could
6
do
books.
that. That's a feature.
Oh yeah,
on
no, I do that
CovrPrice?
all the time now because sometimes when I'm looking up some of the pricing on some books, you know, I'm trying to just do a quick price. They'll tell you if you look across the bottom here what the last thing that was sold.
Yeah, get this one.
And then you can look at, you know, how many are in the run. Oh, there's only 18 books in the run. Well, shit, I got 17 of the 18. Maybe I'll keep that one.
All new exclusive interview with Neri Niven, plus an illustrated adaptation of his sci-fi thriller All the Myriad Ways with some chick with a severed head and an axe. Whoa, some astronaut's head that, you know. Remember those
75.
movies like The Women of Mars or something like that? The back in the 50s. All right, boys and girls, that's your for today's show. I appreciate you guys all for watching. Congratulations to what was it? Just Scott, right?
Scott.
His name? Scott.
He
Congratulations
commented.
Yeah, congratulations for participating and winning this bad boy, which drops on Bird City Comics tomorrow. Make sure you hit them up at what, 7 p.m. Eastern or what time is it?
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There will be 750. If you guys are like, oh, I'm going to forget, sub our text line. If you go to the Bird City Comics website and you just scroll down, there's this text line that you can hit, and we'll send you a text anytime that something goes live with a direct link. So you get the text, you click the link, and you're there.
Yeah,
It's really
no
good.
excuse.
Miss Laura, we
for
need
it
to
be-
drop that link in the chat or give it to me in the private so we can get into future shows. I'd love to be dropping that during the show because we absolutely need to make that a requirement of participation.
I'll
You got to
do
be
it
sub to
now
the
while you
channel.
guys-
You got to have the link. Anyway,
Yeah, I'll
So
do
right
it.
now, hold on. So it's really
Tico's gonna
simple.
drop the link for you. There you go.
birdcitycomics.com. I mean, come on, it can't get any more simple than that, boys and girls. And it's free to sign up for their show or their newsletter, so you don't miss out on any of the exclusive that drops. Their drops are typically every Friday, but sometimes they drop on some other days. And if
Yeah.
it gets sold out, you have no excuse because you get a reminder. Anyway,
We
so
told them about the World Tree. We're like, you guys, this is a good artist, and she's
Ooh.
going to be something. So, JB, I put it in the private chat.
Yes, I'm putting it
makes
in
it
right
easier than
now.
going to the
And I put
site.
it in
You
my little
literally-
notes.
Yep.
So we have
Yeah,
it
you
for
just
future
text the word.
reference.
All right.
There
All right,
you
boys and
go.
girls. Laura, any last words?
No, this was a great show. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you guys all in the chat for showing up, and definitely leave a comment afterwards. Like I said earlier, I go through and sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night on Thursday nights. I'm like, I got to read the comments, which is like not healthy, but I do. I go
Was
and I
that-
like read the
was
comments
that-
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that was Laura on the street cutter.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
JB,
I wish
any
we
last
had
words?
that.
Yeah, we had a huge crowd tonight. Thank you, everybody that watched us live. And you know what's going to happen. Everyone on the rewind, you guys are awesome too. Make sure you're hitting the thumbs up and make sure you're commenting on the show to be entered into Tuesday giveaway after the top 10. As always, don't forget, we had a good time.
That's all right. For Laura and JB, this is Tebow. Keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out.
Shake and make it, pull it back.
Hold on and get some, boys.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's three greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Now that's a name I've not heard.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is
Shake and make it, pull it back.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is In this, you shall know that the Lord is
Hold on and get some, boys.
Jack, here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is
What's in the box?